Bang, bang, Niner gang, what's going on? This your boy, Mike Jax. A lot of people call me Florida Mike. Some people call me German Chocolate. I got all these kind of names going on. But I am making a channel today about our San Francisco 49ers and the offseason and then the comparison with the Niners and Rams. So I'm going to talk about those two things real quick. All right, so as you know, we got the NFL draft at the end of this month, and we're in early April, the first week. So we still got a few weeks out. Now, let's talk about this offseason real quick. Now, in the universe, there's a lot of Niner fans that are worked up about the 49ers appearing not as aggressive as other teams because we're not signing all these big brand names. We're not going out here and making all these major changes. But the funny thing is the Niners actually made moves and were very aggressive, but they did it under the radar. They got guys, like Ward from Kansas City, who we need we need some help in the secondary. He filled that role. They went out and got some guys for the special teams, which our special teams last season was not really good. They might have had that one little play in the Packers game in the playoffs, but for the totality of the season, special teams wasn't really good. So they went and addressed that. So the 49ers are just adding on to a loaded team already, and they're just supplying the weaknesses and making sure those weaknesses are not as weak going into the season. They're strengthening their weaknesses. So strategic. And they did it, they maneuvered it really well to where they're not overpaying and doing a lot of those things. So when people start talking about what all these other teams are doing, a lot of teams made moves. A lot of them didn't make sense. Some of them did. But at the end of the day, a lot of these teams are trying to win now, where the 49ers are trying to set up for destiny. We have a young quarterback. We don't have a quarterback that's an older quarterback with Trey Lance. We have a super young quarterback who we plan to have around for the next decade. So you're not going to want to try to win, get all these things now when you don't have to. You already have a Super Bowl roster team. So you want to just keep building, keep, drafting. And to be honest, until this management or leadership disappoints consistently, I'm not going to critique them in March and April and say, oh man, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. They haven't really been doing a lot of big signings. They've been drafting good for the most part. And then they got some key free agent acquisitions, and they let players that would have overpaid go. I remember some of the fans were mad when DeForest Buckner left and said, oh, we won't do this, we won't do that without him. We went to the NFC Championship without him. How did the Colts do versus us? So we end up actually doing really well and able to pay more of our players by letting DeForest Buckner go. And that's a smart move for the long term. So like I said, guys, when you see the offseason, you got to trust the front office because, to be honest with you, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have done a great job. They've gotten us to the NFC Championship. We were 3-5 early this year, and the same fans doubting and that were, making it known that they weren't happy this year during the offseason were the same fans early in the year when we were 3-5 saying we weren't going to get to the playoffs and the front office sucks, fire Kyle Shanahan, and all of a sudden they want to come back on and say, hey, we're in the NFC Championship, trust the process, brick by brick. Like, you can't do that, man. You got to be consistent. So if you're going to hate on him, then make sure you keep them receipts because when he performs and get our team to the next level, you can't come back and say you was down with the team in the process. You can have an opinion, but I'm just saying, I see a lot of fans doing stuff like that. So that's my little 2 cents about the offseason. The 49ers are in great shape. We got some draft capital, and we retain a lot of our players. And we're in a position to where we could, get Deebo Samuel taken care of with Nick Bosa. So that's a good thing. We're going to keep a lot of our key players. And the process is not won in March and April, people. We still got an NFL draft. What if teams get all these big signings and they suck at the draft? I mean, it's counterproductive. So, but like I said, let's wait till next season and see what everybody does. Nobody wins in April. I don't care what paper signings people get. Nobody wins in April. So let's talk now about the 49ers and Rams. So this subject is also swirling around with a lot of Niner fans saying that the Rams are doing all this stuff. They're manipulating the salary cap. They're getting all these signings. They're looking good while the 49ers aren't doing nothing, which is I'm not understanding that kind of mentality, because the Rams lost a lot of key players. They lost like 8 people, probably more. But they lost like a lot of players that contributed. And they got in Bobby Wagner, but let me ask you guys this. Is Bobby Wagner better than what we have right now at linebacker? Is he better than Fred Warner right now? Is he better than Greenlaw right now? These are things that people got to think about. We have Fred Warner, who's better, and you don't have a need at linebacker in that way. Bobby Wagner in Legion of Boom days as opposed to Bobby Wagner in 2022. Different type of Bobby Wagner. He's still an effective, good player, but he's not the same caliber that he was with the Legion of Boom some years ago, you know, when they had Sherman in them. So I think people are living off the name brand rather than looking at the productivity that he's giving in compared to Fred Warner. You know, Fred Warner is a better player this year. So we did right by taking care of what we have in-house. And the same goes for Allen Robinson, whoever the Rams signed. I mean, is he better than Deebo Samuel? No. So we don't need those guys, you know, for that purpose. If they came on, I don't see the point. We already have that. You know, we just need to add on to our weaknesses and keep building, keep drafting, and then we'll go for another run at Super Bowl. We have some good stuff here. So what I want to say is real quick, when people start talking about the Rams and how they won the Super Bowl, hey, they won the Super Bowl, you know, kudos to them. But we're trying to build for a long haul. They have an older quarterback, so their window is now. That's what they're playing for. We have a super young quarterback. We're playing for a longer window and a bigger future. So we're still in the Super Bowl window, if you will, right now. But we have an opportunity to be in the Super Bowl to compete for multiple playoffs and Super Bowls in the future by the way that we're building our team. We're not overspending. You guys were saying some of this when we gave up DeForest Buckner. And look what happened. We still went to the NFC Championship. And we were able to pay guys that were due some big contracts like Fred Warner and other players. So we were able to make sure that we had enough money to allocate around. So in conclusion, guys, and I don't want to keep rambling on too much about the Rams because this is a Niner thing, but because so many Niner fans are talking about what the Rams are doing and because they're in our division, it's natural to look in your division and see what other people are doing, right? Well, let me give you a friendly reminder. Kyle Shanahan in the last 5 years have done more with less than Sean McVay. And if you want to debate that, it's really not debatable because Kyle Shanahan did not inherit a team that was built to win like McVay did. McVay had, you know, a team and a roster that was capable of winning. San Francisco, at the time Kyle Shanahan came here, we were a losing record team. We didn't have that culture. It was totally chaotic here. But when Kyle Shanahan came in, the first 2 years, he took and moved everybody out and brought his guys in. And in year 3, he went to a Super Bowl. So for a coach who's never coached before, and he's a first-time head coach and went to Super Bowl in year 3, man, that's a good thing. That's a good sign. So the man knows what he's doing. Now, granted, we came up short, but he did get there. And, hey, that was like, all right, cool. So then you fast forward the next year, had the most injury depleted roster that we ever had. But the year after that, we go to the NFC Championship. So 2 of the 5 seasons is really what matters to me. I'm not going to count the most injured team that we had in 2020. That season was a wash to begin with. We got everybody hurt like by week 3. The first 2 years, I'm not going to count because those are rebuild years. I'm going to count the year that he actually starts being effective, which was year 3. So basically, since 2019, he's went to a Super Bowl and an NFC Championship from 2019 to 2022. That's not bad. McVay has had Super Bowl, a winning team roster and went to Super Bowl twice like we did, but he's 1 of 2. The first Super Bowl appearance, he only put up like 3 points, and they had the highest offense in the NFL that year, probably putting up like 40 a game, and they only came away with 3 points in the Super Bowl. So I say all this, guys. I don't think we should beat up our front office. Obviously, they know what they're doing. Sure, we're going to have opinions. Sure, we're going to say, man, they could do this, they could do that. But at the end of the day, as long as they're getting the results, as long as it's consistent, I have no complaints. And eventually, we will crack the Super Bowl. I'm not worried about that. I believe we will. So until this front office disappoints consistently, I have no reason to doubt them because they've been winning when they're healthy and they have people available. So I hope this gives, a little bit closure and calmness to the Niner Empire because we still have a draft to come up ahead, and nobody wins in April on paper. Doesn't matter what signings you have. I'm going to pull this video back up towards the end of the season, and we'll see where we're at from there. But I'm highly confident nobody will win in April. That's a guarantee. I've never seen an NFL team win a Super Bowl in April prior to a draft just because they signed some big names. So what? So, all right, hope this helps. Bang, bang, Niner gang. I'm excited about our future, and I believe we'll be winning multiple Super Bowls soon. Go Niners.